May the peace of the Lord be with you. Yet another moment I come your way with the reflections of the day. Today we celebrate the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary. And for our reflection for today, we will take our reading from 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 54b, which is actually the second reading for the Virgin Mass of this great solemnity. And then we will also make a connection with the Gospel from Luke chapter 1, verse 39 to 56, where it says, "For behold, when the voice of your greeting came to my ears, the child in my womb leaped for joy." And that is the reflecting theme for today. For behold, when the voice of your greeting came to my ears, the child in my womb leaped for joy. So in the Gospel of Luke, the chapter 1 serves as the narrative for the coming of Jesus into the realms of humanity. We are told from the preceding lines of this chapter 1 that Mary arose and went with haste into the hill country to visit her cousin Elizabeth, who was with child in her old age. We are told that as Mary gets closer to Elizabeth, Elizabeth pronounces these words as, "Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb." Elizabeth goes further to say, "For behold, when your voice of greeting came to my ears, the child in my womb leaped for joy." This word, behold, means to see or to observe. So Elizabeth receives the greeting of Mary as she sees her draw closer. She also observes the demeanor of Mary, and she utters these words of praise. For our reminder, this word behold is a word that is attributed to Jesus. In the Gospel of John chapter 1 verse 29, John the Baptist sees Jesus pass and he announces to the audience that behold the Lamb of God. It is a title, yes, for Jesus. And that statement of John the Baptist does not end there. It says, "Behold the Lamb of God that takes away the sins of the world." It makes this word behold divine and immortal. In which sense? In the sense that it is this behold that John gazes as who forgives sins. And from what Paul tells the community of Corinth in 1 Corinthians chapter 15 verse 54, he says, "Brethren, when the mortal put on immortality, then shall come to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory." We celebrate the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary, the two components of one's humanity, form and matter, soul and body, taken without corruption, taken to the realms of heaven. To be immortal means that you live forever. You never die. And to be mortal means that a living being who is subject to corruption, decay, death. In 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 54b, there is an element of immortality in mortals. That is the first thing we see. In Romans chapter 8, Paul makes us aware that we crave and groan for the redemption of our bodies. Why? Because our body is created with that element of immortality. And until this immortal aspect of us is connected to the supreme immortality, which is God, we rest not. The human person always groans for divinization and deification. And so for Mary to be ascribed as behold, what is communicating to us is that the utterances that Elizabeth utters in seeing Mary are immortal because they create an environment even for the baby in her womb to leap for joy. One thing that we must understand is Mary's yes, her fiat in the narratives of the incarnation, in the Gospel of Luke, already elevates Mary from the state of mortality to the state of immortality. Because at that moment when Mary said, "Let it be done to me according to thy word," already Mary leaves the realms of humanity, leaves the realms of mortality to embrace the divine substance, the word becoming flesh. And so already the earthly life of Mary, Mary is living heaven on earth because she carries in her womb the divine Son of God. The Son becomes incarnate, showing the immortal character of utterances. My dear beloved one, anything mortal has limitation. Before Mary accepted by her fiat to the angel, Mary was considered in her locality as an ordinary young lady who is corrupted to sin, in the sense that she is corrupted in the eyes of people that she is also a descendant of Adam. But because of the special grace that the Lord has given to her before she was born, Mary was without sin. And that is how come she's able to be the mother of God. And so Mary already lives in the realms of the divine. As we move, as we encounter people, as we smile to people, we are unconsciously sowing seeds of immortality. What would people remember us with when we are not there? In our absence, the memories that we leave people with are the legacies of immortality. By the special grace that Mary acquired from God, she was without sin from her birth. And that made her the absolute vessel for the Son of God to be born. And for her already accepting the challenge to become the mother of Christ, she, in her earthly life, was already immortal. And that is why her body, her soul, was assumed into the realms of heaven. For behold, when the voice of your greeting came to my ears, the child in my womb leaped for joy. Mary leaves us. Mary leaves humanity to unite that immortal aspect of herself with the divine King. she challenges us and makes us have that confidence that we can also, by living the precept of Yahweh, also unite ourselves with the immortal, which is God. As we celebrate the feast of the Assumption, may we strive also to be assumed one day in the realms of the Spirit to the throne of God. Happy Solemnity to all of you.